our journey. Let me write something. Yes. So, Namaste, Brandy. So we will start our journey to who am I, or we say mindfulness. Ten boys. A girl chooses one boy to be soulmate. Out of the 10 boys, or you can just reverse it. One boy chooses one girl as his soulmate, excluding the rest. We do it in the world. You have chosen the soulmate, no problem. Now see, whatever we choose, you choose anything in the world, whether a boy or a girl or a refrigerator or a car. That the first step is all about discernment and dispassion. You excluded the rest because you have chosen one. Am I clear? Say yes. But whatever we choose in the world, you can say that at the surface mind, at the outer level of the mind, you have chosen the soulmate, but this mind deeper inside has lot of issues: fear, anxiety. I have chosen the soulmate, but if, after that you can complete the sentence. If this boy, if this girl, if this car, if this house. Did you understand it? You have fear, you have a sense of anxiety, and if the boy or the girl says, no, I'm not interested in you, understand this, that the first step, we have applied the discernment and dispassion. But because we have chosen something, or you can say we have chosen the desire in the world to be happy, it comes with the dividend of fear, anxiety, duality, and a conflict. Now you desire for the real self. You desire for the real self. Real self is not going anywhere. Wherever you go, it is present. I want to know who am I. Once we have that clarity, conviction, that mind is pure, that mind is a seeker, and the seeker succeeds in mindfulness. Did you understand? You choose anything in the world. It is in your reach. The moment you choose, it means you have excluded the rest. You have separated the rest. That's why I gave an example of 10 boys. A girl choose one. So you have excluded the rest. This is the power of discernment. And now that girl becomes a soulmate. That is dispassion. But you choose anything in the world. Choose anything. Choose anything in the world. It comes with The DD and plus DD. Do you remember? It definitely will come with the DD and DD. You have chosen discernment, yes, dispassion, because you have excluded. Why that boy and girl is a soulmate? Because you have excluded the rest. You are not thinking about it. There is a sense of separatedness, and it is a sign of dispassion. We apply discernment and dispassion. Don't see that these are new principles that you are learning. We apply. Go to the store. Oh, this shirt is better. Let me have it. Return home, you try it, it doesn't fit, you are frustrated, you go back. But when I choose the real self, there is no other DD, there is no division into it. To reach to that state of the mind makes you a seeker. I would say the highest level of it. And when you are a highest level of a seeker, then what happens? What happens? Listen patiently with attention. Listening and learning from a teacher is a preparation for mindfulness. First statement. I know it. Hold on. Second statement. Repeat listening with contemplation and reflection is the state of mindfulness. Because there is no division and duality, what you have chosen is inside, is already present in you. Did you understand? That is why you need not to practice. No, you stress more on Mondays and Thursdays to practice. Even in this session, I say at home you have to repeat listening of contemplation and reflection. And if the contemplation and reflection does not help you to reach to the state of mindfulness, obviously you need to practice. You are yet to become the highest level of this. It's a self-check. I don't come in between. You already know that one beautiful girl wrote, I'm not a seeker. No, you have to check yourself. Who am I? To check you. Are you getting? Even if you are not getting, say yes, no problem. That is the way the life. You have to see that. So it is all about understanding. What is understanding is the knowledge. What is knowledge? It is an awareness. The way you are watching a film, you see a beautiful boy and a girl, and you imagine, that is my soulmate. The same thing happens to the mind when you have chosen the real self. Exactly the same thing in every situation, in everywhere. It happens. Listening and learning from a teacher is a preparation for meditation. For a seeker, I add another word. And then you repeat listening and learn with a contemplation and reflection is meditation, is mindfulness. If it doesn't happen, you have to do the practice. If it happens, you already know that there is no practice required. That is the difference between ignorance and the knowledge. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Upanishad statement. Lead us from ignorance to wisdom. Now, at a physical level, we can recognize, but at the mental level, we have to develop that understanding inside our head. Did you get it? No. Let me give another example. Uh, a student said to the teacher, all candles are ready. They have a beautiful flame. They are giving us a light. Teacher said, go and find out with that candle with a flame. You have to put that candle where the darkness is. You're searching the darkness with a candle with a flame. Is it possible to search the darkness when all the candles are lit? Wherever the candle goes, there is no darkness. That is the journey of understanding. I'm stressing on Saturday's session, you need to understand. That understanding, that knowledge, that consciousness, that awareness, whatever you say. This is what this teacher is saying to us. Teacher never said that you need to do any practice. Why? Because the real self is already with it. I am of the nature of the real. I am the real self, not I am the nature of the real self. So in the first metaphor, we took it, there are three layers, levels. Your consciousness is a canvas, and consciousness is borrowed to the mind. When we say mind, instead if I say subtle body, with the subtle body also the physical body. So my body is working, moving. It is because of the reflected consciousness. What is that reflected consciousness? Is the mind, and that the world, entire world lives in the mind. Entire world, entire universe of honey or money or car or home or pain and suffering, pleasure, everything lives in that subtle body, does not live in the real self. So when we use the word transcending the mind, means I transcend the mind. I have already transcended the world also. World of division and the duality and choosing the soulmate and getting, ultimately it becomes a soulmate after a few weeks or a month or a year. Why? Because it is already within, deep inside my mind. The level of ignorance is present. So the second metaphor says that when you say that the real self is one consciousness, all pervading everywhere, why I see so many individual consciousnesses. So the second metaphor comes that then that what metaphor says the pot space, the space inside the pot and the space outside is one. You can move from one state to another, as Brandy did. You cannot move the space. Space does not belong to the mind and the world. Do you see? Brandy, did you move the space from Phoenix to? No. We are talking of that consciousness. So he first creates more confusion. This master creates more confusion. He says, no, there are four consciousnesses. You are only talking of two. Part space, one consciousness. And that is real self, the space inside the body. And the same real self is the space. If it is a space, the infinite space outside is also the same space. Great space, or you can say the supreme self. Oh, the real self and the supreme self are one. Yes. And these are at real spot space at the micro level. Now, in that pot, you can put the water, you can put the tea, you can put the coffee, you can put anything, soup. The space in the pot does not change. What you put into the space changes. So pay attention that Master says that water space is an individual. Define your individual. I'm a boy and a girl. I'm 6 feet and 5 feet. Now define the space. No, it's only a space. No attribute. No water space. Oh, it's impure water. It's a pure water. It's a colorless water. You see? Tea, coffee. Individual. Good, bad, high, low. Who created this mind? Go back to the first metaphor. Mind. Mind in the world. The moment I talk of the attribute good, bad, high, low, it is the water space. That is an individual. I have to transcend that individuality. Ego does not allow me to transcend that reality because impurity in the mind. Why impurity in the mind? Because of the ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance means what I claim I am not. They say I'm very beautiful. Beauty is an attribute of the body. Real self is all beautiful. It is reflected through the mind, reached to the body, so you claim that. Can you really define the beauty? I've seen a couple of articles. It says black is beautiful. All white are ugly. We get carried away by these impressions. Who defines mind? The mind has created a word. Mind has created a word that you are suffering. So you are suffering. So at the micro level, art space and the water space. Understand, one is the real self, other is the individual self. Individual self means body, mind, breath, intellect, ego, I thought, plus consciousness. Still, real self is present there, but it is hidden. Where? All the time. As long as I live in ignorance. And then the same thing at, at the macro level is also there. There is all one pervading consciousness as the infinite space, where the cloud space is one unit as the entire world. Now we say the cosmic individual. You say the individual is here, and that is the cosmic. So where lies the problem? I have to understand the nature of the world. I have to understand the nature of the individual. The more clear and deeper understanding you have for that, what happens? They dissolve. Why? It does not exist. Can you show me where the I thought exists? When you say I'm an individual, I'm smart, okay, first let me know where is the I. Then I will talk about you whether you are smart. Now I told you about this girl, not a girl and a woman, she said that I left the corporate job for a life mission. As if I leave the corporate job, I will be awakened. Are you making me fool? No, you're making yourself fool. You're living in a fool's paradise. No, everything is private. I'm not criticizing anyone. We are analyzing, we are understanding. So we have, in metaphor, we have four stages of the consciousness: real self, individual self. At micro level, uh, the supreme self; at the macro level, and you can see this, the entire world outside. So, what is preventing me, all the four so called stages of the consciousness, to be understood as one pure, all pervading consciousness? It is the individual self. So, I have to break all these limitations. How to break these limitations? By understanding. And how to understand this entire world? By understanding. So what happens? The two false identity as an individual in the world dissolves. Why? It does not exist. We will talk about it. It does not exist. So what is left? One is the real self and one is the supreme self. The space inside the pot and the infinite space outside. Are they two? No, they are one. What the heck are you talking? Is the real self is the supreme self? Yes, when the consciousness is all pervading. You remove all the doubts about religions, gods and goddesses, mystical phenomena, etc. You are settled in that one consciousness. Now only there is one consciousness, all pervading. Do you see me? Yes, you see my body. Continue to perceive that this body is made up of trillions of cells. It is a fact. No, no, these are not cells. Cells are made up of the matter. No, matter is just an energy. Does the individual self exist? Tell me. Who is beautiful? Who is beautiful? Because you have chosen the goal, desire to know the real self without any superimposition. By it is here and now. It's not happening with me. I have redefined meditation. Do you remember? Yes, I still remember. Listening and learning from a teacher is a preparation for meditation. And you can repeat in your mind. Listening and learning, repeat listening and learning alone. Alone means I am with myself now. With contemplation and reflection is meditation. This is what happens. I don't have time, I'm very busy. So you have already chosen your priority. That is why I started with it. You have to look at that honey. The girl chose one boy out of the 10. So you have chosen your priority every day. Relate the here also. You have chosen one priority. Don't you see that, I have problems in my eyes, I have to go to the doctor. Can you take your this learning there also? How can I take my learning there? I have a lot of pain. Pain is in the body. It is the individual self. It is the false reality. You have no excuse. But when people excuse me, I said, okay, you are right. You have to take care of it. You have to take care of it. How long that intensity of aspiration, if I give an example of the Ashok, intensity of aspiration to know the real self in spite of such a severe accident, lives in him will define. He had, we have seen it. How long it remains, that will redefine. Why I'm explaining so. One more point that is very important to understand. We have understood these two metaphors, and we say that yes, intellectual. Again, we say normally we say intellectually I have understood. No doubt, listening and learning from a teacher is a preparation for meditation where you have intellectually understood. I agree with you. Do you agree with me with the second step? I'm busy. Why you are busy? Where are you busy? In the world outside, in relationship. Relationship. Relationship to the money, relationship to the honey, relationship to, oh, busy in the work, etc. What it means, you have chosen that as a real. Oh, should I not do it? No, you do it. Does your mind say you're confusing me? No, I'm not confusing. What do you mean? Because you recognize, you have a cognitive ability to recognize all the activities, relationship in the world belongs to the individual self. You have only to remember that I'm the real self. That is what happened naturally to Ashok. Why naturally? Because he has been doing the practice. It did not happen for 20 years and it happened suddenly. So when we say it happened suddenly, that is the grace of the God. That is the grace of the existence. Anyhow, we'll come back. What is the question that can I have chosen the real self will choose you. Can I get rid of the body and the mind? No, you need not to get rid of the body and the mind. No, you just said you transcend. Yes, you transcend. You don't get rid of it. So where is the secret hidden in there? Secret hidden is there that if so, there the Eastern wisdom dares to declare the entire world is false. It is neither real nor unreal. It is the false means it exists in between real and God. Now, what about my experiences? Yes, you experience mirage. You experience mirage. Is mirage real? You experience waves. Are the waves separate from water? Tell me. If it is separate from the water, obviously. If the mirage is just a mirage, I experience. Now people tell me, I experience. What to do with that? Yes, we all the time we experience. Experience takes place in the mind. When the mind uses all the sense organs with reference to an object, the eyes are meant to see, ears are meant to hear. So we normally get experience, but does every experience is real or not? I have to understand that. I have to settle into the real. Are you ready? I'm moving slowly. The Eastern wisdom says that science says there is a real or unreal. We say no, there are three elements to understand. There is a real Real is all changing, no changing. It never changes. It is all pervading. It is permanent. It remains present. It is existence. It is pure consciousness. What about unreal? Unreal is non-existent. What about mithya or the false? False exists in between. It appears as a real, but it does not exist. My experience of the mirage appears as a real, but it is not. You drive your car on the highways, you find all the highways are running behind you. It is not real. You cannot put it into the frame of unreal. Why you cannot put it into the frame of unreal? But I experience it. I see it. How can I deny? So when you cannot put any experience in between, in either in the real or the unreal, it is false. And that false is known as superimposition, that false is known as delusion, that false is known as ignorance, that false is known as superimposition. Can I remove it physically? No. Can I remove it mentally with cognitive ability? Yes. Wherever there is a real, there will be the false as a manifestation. Individual is a manifestation of the real self. Individual is created by an I thought that lives in the mind. I thought does not have any existence. So repeat listening. Now I'm repeating. Repeat listening. Now I've been doing it. Sometime I miss it. You have changed your priority. You miss it, you have changed your priority. Only once I missed it. So only once you missed it, so discernment and dispassion has been lost. You enter into the duality and the division where trillions of impressions returns back. That is my master used to say, always remain alert and aware. That is one of the greatest discipline in the journey of mind. Alert and aware of what? My soulmate outside or soulmate inside? You have to choose. That's simply choosing in the field of awareness is what the discernment and dispassion is. It's not a big deal for a seeker. And it's a big deal. You continue the journey even for 10 years, and that understanding is not there, nothing happens. The Eastern wisdom says that how we have that cognitive ability by understanding. Understanding is again, I said, knowledge. Knowledge is awareness. So now I understand real, false, unreal. Unreal, don't worry about it. Real, I know it is permanent entity. I have yet to recognize and realize, but I can experience the false at every moment. The moment I recognize the false at every moment, that real is present behind. Because the one who recognizes the false is the real knower. I live into that state of the consciousness all the time. Remember, false cannot be separated from the real self. Physically, it is possible. I gave an example. The teacher said, find out that go and search where the darkness is. How can you search the darkness with a candle which is lit it is giving that light. How? There is no way. So means your focus is on you have chosen the soulmate inside, not outside. You don't choose it and you say you blame and complain. How it is possible? That is the beauty of this journey of Eastern wisdom. We'll continue our journey, and that is why so-called I give the practice, which is also a non-practice. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed, but you have chosen the real self. It has nothing to do with the eyes closed or open. You can still choose the real self with eyes open or closed. So if we get what we say, what is the word? If we get obsessed, no, every meditation has to do with eyes closed. That's what I have been doing for 20 years and nothing has happened. So we do not choose eyes closed or open. That is why it becomes a non-practice. You're just aware. You have chosen, by thinking, no issue. I have chosen the real self. You can even say, I have chosen the real self within, deep inside the cave of the heart. That is also okay in the beginning. And then the physical awareness, it is a part of the world. Mind and the world, they go together. So one is the mind, and when I say physical awareness, physical world is there. Again, I say the mind, an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. It is an experience. Did I not tell you? Mirror is water. I experience, but it is not. Highway, moving, it is not. So now you are recognizing false. So what that comes? Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. As long as there is an object in the mind, you are far. So that experience takes place in the mind, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So it's okay. You know that the false cannot be separated, but you want to extract who is the knower, actual, real knower of this sensation, comfort, and steady. It helps. You can say in the beginning, it's okay. Now, what is behind that, or what is when you move deeper? I have already explained. Moving deeper means rise in awareness. Here and now, you find the space. Is there space with an object or objectless? The space, we cognitive ability, the space is objectless. False notion. No, I have a lot of the thought. Come on, your focus should be on the space, not on the thought. Unwanted thought, unwelcome thought that are moving at this time. Are you getting it? I believe. Can't you see the space in your living room in spite of the fact that it is full of lot of items? Yes, you can see that. Where is your focus? Is on the space. Not that your living room is full, cozy, congested. We need that ability to be aware here and now in spite of the false. So then what happens? A lot of thoughts are coming. Oh, your focus is on this space. It is present somewhere. Where it is present, my friends? It is present in the space. It does not touch the space, but it is present there. But my focus is on the space. So hence, I'm not at all get carried away by, are you getting? Not getting carried away by, complete the sentence yourself. Why you say complete the sentence myself? I told you. Listening and learning, repeat listening and learning by with contemplation and reflection when alone is, I told you just now. I believe you don't forget it. I'm not saying you to change anything. Uh, because if I say you to change anything, obviously, then it is a practice. So there is a rise in. No, again, question. What do you mean by rise in awareness? It is already present. What do you mean? As you approach to the sun, the intensity of the heat and the light goes on increasing. It increased, it became intense because you have reached there or it was already present. You have an answer. That is cognitive ability. That is what the awareness is. Oh, so that is the superimposition. Look at it, my friend. It is to say it is simple is to abuse mindfulness. Simple means you are comparing with something complex. This is what this master is teaching. Always keep in mind, I'm not teaching. To take this being comfortable at a, if I say at a higher level, it's still it is a non-practice. You are aware of the entire body. So the moment you are aware of the body, it means it is a body-mind complex. Because without the mind, I cannot be aware of the physical body. Does body exist? No. Why? Find out where the body is. It is made up of the parts, organs, systems. 60 billion or 60 trillion cells. Look at it, this. Cognition. Oh, I think brain alone contains 60 billion cells. So you can say, trillions of these cells. Okay. What is another level of cognition? These cells are nothing but the matter. Constantly changing, replacing, refreshing. Every 7 years, some scientists say that every 7 years, so-called this body which exists is a false, continues to change. Oh, I know what is changing is not me. Your focus remains on the real self. That I have yet to know. I agree with you. Same thing, this master agrees. 4 stages of the consciousness. Don't ask me what is next. Because if you're asking, your mind is asking what is next, your focus is somewhere else. What is that focus? Are you tremendously making an effort? No. You have chosen. How? Discernment and dispassion. No chance of division in the duality. But those division in duality still comes. It is known as the ignorance or the impurities of the mind. That is why the master says we have to be a seeker to reach to that state. You got it. We have already done those practices, so we are a seeker. Go back, awareness of the body. Can I say awareness? Oh, the body is the false like a mirror's water. It is nothing but trillions of the cells, constantly changing and moving. Awareness that I cannot find the real self in what is changing. Very good. No, no, but let me explore. What are these cells? Oh, it is nothing but the matter. Arranged, different matters and the elements rearranged are the cells. But matter itself is changing. Pick up any understanding. No, matter is nothing but the energy. But the energy is not a consciousness. It is I am consciousness, and hence I become aware of this energy. What is this I consciousness? I am consciousness. I'm the real self. Do you still think? No. Right. Consciousness knows itself by consciousness. It does not need any thought, feeling, sensation, experience. It knows by itself. Candlelight knows the light by itself. Oh, I am consciousness. In my presence, when I am consciousness, everything is known. What is known? Breath, body, mind, intellect, pain, pleasure, duality, conflict. Oh, I am separate from it. Well, why? That is a false that comes and goes. I'm in that state. I am the real self. Because you have chosen it. Any thought comes, thought is a movement, it is a change. Who is the knower of a thought? It is me. I am not the thought, but I'm a knower, seer. We resolve all the other three, so-called three consciousnesses. Only one consciousness pervades everywhere. No, I know US. Yes, you know US. You are the knower. US is different from. I know I'm a boy. It's okay. I told you the false cannot be gotten rid of from the real. Wave cannot be separated from the water. Potential waves are present in the water. Potential mirage is present in the water, in the desert. Pay attention. Did you choose your soulmate? Choosing is not making an effort. That's why I started the journey today. That 10 boys are there and a girl chooses. Do you choose physically? That is a cognition. That is awareness. Repeating again. For the sake of understanding, listening and learning from a teacher is a preparation for mindfulness. repeat listening and learning with contemplation and reflection, or I can add cognitive ability, is meditation or mindfulness. What about the breath? Mind says objects. No issue, look at the breath. But you have already chosen the real self. Contrast is there, the breath is constantly changing. Keep looking at the breath, doesn't matter. A lot of teachers teach focus on the breath. How long you can focus on the breath? You have not chosen the breath. The mind pushes you with lot of stuff. Unwanted thought distracts you. You cannot even focus on the breath for a minute. I suggest keep casually looking at the breath, my friend. My friends, and okay. Now, then what is the cognition? The breath is changing. Now that is changing. It is false. By saying it is false, you revive that focus on the real self, which is the consciousness. Breath stops, consciousness remains. In deep sleep, I'm unconscious of the breath. The consciousness is still there. That helps me to wake up in the morning. Today we woke up, proves, validates. So we don't pay importance to these experiences which can reshape my life, but we argue. But it's okay, it's a part of the journey. We should ask the question, we should not stop. So pay attention, looking at the breath, one being aware of the breath means that your focus is behind the breath. You are aware of the breath, which is constantly changing, which is false. Hence, I'm looking beyond. Another way to understand where the breath, movement of the breath is taking place, it is taking place in the space. Oh, mind says, no, I agree with this thought. Or do you agree? Are you aware of the space where the movement of the breath is taking place? Yes. Where is the next step? Do you recognize it is one infinite space everywhere on which the breath, movement of the breath is superimposed? I gave an example. Can I see the space in my living room full of all the objects congested? Yes. The answer is yes, you are already there. You are there. You are there. So his mind is still asking where your focus is. This master is unique. That's why I have chosen this text. knower, known. There is a complete separation in the mind or the intellect, in the field of awareness. Why there is no focus in the world and the mind? Complete because there is a discernment and dispassion. I have chosen the real self. Ah, you have chosen it, so there is no duality, division, conflict, impurity, ignorance. I am. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Now is the time to share your experiences, which helps you to see and perceive these principles from your own mind. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, thank you. Um, it, um, Today's just one of the reasons why I always love Saturdays. Very deep uh, lesson there. Um, I kept going through the entire lesson, and the practice or non-practice was just these ideas of how powerful the mind really is. Um, and if we allow it the power of and realize it's driven by experience, it's driven by impressions, it's driven by these interpretations, and it creates this false untrue world that the only thing real is the real self. And that real self is representative of what we talk about all the time, the peace, happiness, truth, and wisdom. So throughout the whole hour that we've been on this lesson, I kept going through the idea that I just want to be the real self, and just taking the principles of the listening and learning and contemplation reflection just to being defined as meditation, pretty much being in meditation 24/7, and then applying the discernment, dispassion, and I love the idea of being alert and aware. It just triggers those basic principles, and it easily separates what's false and what's real. And there was a true test, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling on, but I'm in New York right now, and I'm at Sam's house, and there's noise going on all around me, from kids screaming to the neighbor behind me having a ring outdoor camera that keeps saying I'm recording, and then my phone was ringing and buzzing, and it was just so easy to say, that's not me. And I
How
just
easy.
continue to stay in this peace and happiness zone. So it was great. Thank you.
Beautiful. You have summarized and covered almost everything that I discussed. So the more and more we have that sense of reflection all the day, life becomes so easy. Thank you, Stephen. How are you, Brandy?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you. When you said during the meditation that consciousness recognizes itself, I had this sort of image or realization of everything else just being kind of like a pile
Yeah,
over here, right? And it's like real self, pile. And it was that simple.
yeah, that is the power of choosing a soulmate as real self or choosing a soulmate outside. Beautiful. How are you, Terry? Something popped up in my mind and it disappeared. So I said, okay, let it disappear. That is the nature of the
I can't really put into words.
mind. Good. No
Yeah.
need. You're calm. You're peace.
Yes, I feel very even.
Very good. So only one level of the ignorance is left. When you say, I feel even, you don't feel even, you are even.
Mm.
That is the only thing that we need to recognize. What is preventing me? It is preventing my ignorance. That's all. That is what we say. How are you, Dennis?
Fine, Guruji, thank you. I noticed in the meditation that the mind was neither reactive nor sleepy. It was like observing the space, and only occasional thoughts and experiences were passing by and not really distracting me from observing that space. But I also during your talk, I had a quick question, or rather,
Yeah,
question whether I understood it correctly or not. When you said that real self is hidden by the mind and all its impurities, uh, it is hidden from whom? From the real self itself?
they are hidden because by ignorance, by the impurities.
But from whom it is hidden?
Yes. Did you know yourself when you were born? Who am I at the time of the birth?
No.
Answer is no. So that ignorance is beginningless, endless. There is no doer of the ignorance. That is the answer given to us by the masters. Just see that, beginningless and endless. But there is one thing, one caveat there. When I introduce the knowledge, the ignorance can come to an end. So real self is also endless and beginningless and all-pervading. It remains as it is. Ignorance is destroyed by the knowledge. That is the difference we do between the two. One is the ignorance and one is the real. Both are beginningless. And you see in your daily life, as you grew into a toddler, what happened? Now you wanted to know, you wanted to run, you have a curiosity. Why I have a curiosity? Because I'm guiding my mind to leave that ignorance. So who has created that ignorance? No answer. It is beginningless. Again, that's why I'm repeating, it's a beginningless. But if you use that knowledge, another point one master says, I remind myself, you have never entered into a house full of darkness for 50 years. Who created the darkness? One. Second, you take a torch or a candle, you enter into the house. Do you make an effort to remove the darkness because it existed for 50 years? Or it is removed instantly? The moment that light is done and the flash of the light removes the darkness that existed in that house for 50 years. So those who says no, it will take time, they become more crazy. They say, oh, there may be some ghost or what you say, vampire or something, because it has not been lived there for 50 years. That is another creation of our ignorance. To contemplate and reflect, okay, it is the ignorance. Who created that ignorance at the time of the birth? Did I? If it does not make any sense. If there is some force, that does not make any sense. It means there are two entities present in my mind or within me. One is the real self, the other who created the dark. Another answer that I will talk in detail, but one thing, we are born in ignorance. We create likes and dislikes, pain and the pleasure, joy and the sorrow. These are the impurities caused by the ignorance, and that is how we live in the world all the time. So what is going to happen if I continue to live with those likes and dislikes? Means objective reality, world. Mine and the world are the same. What is going to happen? I will get another birth with the same idea. Another life of ignorance, another life of ignorance. In this life, I had $1 billion. Next life, I may not have it. So I continue to create those impressions in my daily life, and it continues to make me suffer. Suffering, cause of suffering is ignorance. Who created the ignorance? No answer. It is existed. But you will get the answer once you remove that ignorance. Think of it. I know you have many questions, and I love your questions. But first contemplate on this, and then we will take up other questions. That is all, my friends. Thank you very much. Namaste. We will meet again.